Welcome back to the Stag Raw podcast. This episode I'm joined by Mason Robinson, host of Relatable Chapters. Mason sort of takes 4 to 6 key points out of someone's life and they explore that through their podcast. I'm going to be on that podcast soon, so make sure you're heading over to his podcast, Relatable Chapters, which of course you'll find in the show notes, and following there, and have a listen to some of the awesome guests that he's already had on there. I found Mason through his podcast with Seamus Martin and Steve Holloway from Between Two Beers. Of course, we had Between Two Beers on here a couple of months ago. If you've missed that episode, go back and have a geese. And yeah, Mason's questions and interview process is really awesome. Like many things, it develops over time. Mason's someone that's putting in the work. He's cracking through that 50 mark, and just continuing to learn and develop and reap the benefits of podcasting in conversation with people that's in depth. As he says, it's a chance to sit down with people that maybe you're friends or maybe you don't know and you're interested in, and really get the opportunity to ask those questions that you wouldn't be able to do of just, flicking back and forth an Instagram message or hanging out for a coffee or a beer or whatever it is. You get that opportunity to remove the veil and go deep, which is pretty cool. And it's a buzzy situation when you take the headphones off at the end of it and just kind of go, wow, that was a journey, and you both find out so much about each other. So really cool stuff, and I hope you enjoy this one. We go for a decent chunk of time, hour 40. He came over on his way from Hamilton to Papamoa, and we had dinner with the family, and then sat down on the couch and recorded this. Enjoyed ourselves a nice hot Element chocolate there. Unfortunately, as we know in New Zealand, it's not available, but if you're in Australia or the US, check out that link in the show notes. It's still there. Saw Nigel Beach was over in the States for looking at golf. I think it was at the Titleist Centre or something like that, and he picked himself up a massive stash of Element to bring home. So, what a legend. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this episode with Mason Robinson.
You got a few extra dials than I do.
That's better, eh?
So does this, is it straight on?
Yeah, so...
Is it 360?
No. I've made that mistake a couple of times. Been talking, it sounds like you're in a toilet a little bit when you do that. It's not as good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
that was with one of your recent guests, the Ultraman guy.
Oh, yeah?
His mic was wrong. You had to pick him up from the wrong side?
Yeah. Yes, old Simon.
Simon, yeah.
Simon Cochran. World champion now of the Ultraman. I have to see he's done a podcast, so he must be back on the vibe.
Because he smashed Aussie.
Yep.
Qualified for Hawaii, went to Canada, smashed that.
Yeah.
And then just finished Hawaii 1-0.
Yeah, and I think part of the situation with Aussie is there's a little bit of beef in the Ultraman community, and so it's sort of like named that, but it's not official or some shit like that.
Oh, okay, so not beef with him specifically.
Yeah,
it's
no.
beef with the course, beef with the organisation.
Organisation and the, it's a bit like CrossFit and functional fitness, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. If you're not a part of it, you're not a part of it, eh? You hate it. Pretty much.
I saw, we were talking at dinner over Reels and TikToks. I saw a reel the other day, and the dude, like, powerlifting dude, just like, CrossFit is dead. It's been dead for 5 years, but it's officially dead. I'm like, fucking chill out, man.
There's that new one, Hydrox.
Yes, yeah.
I saw that this morning. Looks nuts, eh?
So what's the vibe with that? Because
so a 1K row straight into 1K run, and then it's a challenge times 8. So there's 8 different challenges. You see 1K run, 1K ski erg, 1K run, and then it's like a sled push 50 meters, 1K run, sled pull 50 meters, 1K run. There's a 1K row. There's like 50 or 100 wall balls, burpee broad jumps, and something else.
Yeah,
a jerry can, farmer's carry.
Oh, nice. I had Laura Grant on, who's in
the obstacle
course.
Yeah.
She brought it up, and she couldn't really tell me about it. But yeah, And then because we're talking about like Tough Mudder and Spartan and because I think Tough Mudder and Spartan are both owned by that Joe fella. Yeah, and so he tried to sort of unify.
Okay.
all the challenges.
Because I have seen a Hamiltonian that went to Aussie to qualify for the world or for the championship or something of that High Rocks.
Yeah, and then I never get her name right, but she's was doing the sideline commentary at the football, and then she was also doing like the crowd commentary at the Rugby World Cup. Blonde girl, she's in Spartan.
Okay.
Kristen, some yeah, it's along those lines.
Butchering it, eh?
Yeah, but yeah, I've butchered it twice now because I talked about it on Laura too, and I was like, oh crap. Yeah, just there's too many people on your Instagram, you can't remember them all.
Oh, I know what you mean.
What's those 150 people called? When you're following 800, you're not meeting that.
You can't follow them, eh?
No.
And that's where you like lose touch of your friends because you're too busy watching other people. Yeah, I've had that a few times. You see my story? Nah, sorry, bro.
Yeah. Did you listen to my podcast? Nah, sorry, bro. Yeah. I've already told the story 5 times. Yeah. Told it on my Instagram. Told it on my. Yeah. Who's your friend group now? Are they school? Are they work? Are they?
Yeah. So still the lads from Handboys.
Yeah. Because you studied in Hamilton as well?
Yeah, born and bred. I stayed there. Didn't know what I wanted to do out of high school. Ended up at Waikato University as well.
Just do engineering, mate.
Yeah, well, it was that or sports. And I remember seeing another guy who was going into sports, and I was like, oh man, I
thought the thing to do in Hamilton is do business management systems. That's everyone I ever met from Waikato Uni was like, I'm doing BMS. You're like, is that the only thing they do?
or teaching.
Or teaching.
Teaching was another one, yeah. But I remember seeing the guy and being like, I'm smarter than that. I can do better.
Shots fired.
Yeah, no, that was it really. And I went into engineering because I was good at calculus and physics. Little did I know that high school was a piece of piss compared to university.
Oh yeah, my brother had to do that paper twice. Yeah,
then
he had to do fluid dynamics twice, and now he works. He works at cutting cheese now, so he's more in like systems.
Yeah,
as I showed you that unboxing machine.
Yeah,
but yeah, prior to that, he was working for Sinlay and for Tetra Pak. Doing dry risers and things like that. I was like, that's a lot of fluids there. And he worked for Waddies. One of his tasks there was to pump sauce uphill. I was like, that double fluids paper you did came in real handy,
100%. It's got to be one of the hardest papers, but at the same time, one of the best because it's maths. Like, there is an answer.
Yeah.
You can't bullshit your way through it. Once you know kind of thing.
And it's all relational stuff, right?
Yeah.
You change one dynamic and that changes your outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's logical.
Yeah.
Unlike English or...
It's a bit like trying to work out the end point of a telescope. You change the density of the lens, you change the distance between the two lenses, and you'll get the answer. But
is this some of your eye
that was our paper. Like, I passed that shit. I'm fine. Open book too. It was real.
Open book's the worst because it's going to be hard questions.
Yeah, it was a real mindfuck. And then I was talking to the guys at the conference recently. They're like, "Oh, we don't do that paper anymore." I'm just like, "Fuck you."
Hey, change the curriculum, eh?
Yeah. Well, nobody cares.
Yeah. So still same high school mates. Didn't really pick up any through university.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but maybe engineering's not the kind of people. They're not the kind of thing for that. Not in Waikato anyway. If you went to Canterbury or something, definitely in the halls. They have a massive culture. Waikato, not so much. But then, stale. Same mates, same things every weekend. Like, that's why I moved to Pipamole.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with my mates. I still hang out with them every weekend. Great day last weekend.
Yeah. How'd they go?
Pretty good, mate. We actually do an annual beer pong competition.
Nice. It's a good way. Beer pong and poker is a good way to get rid of a crate.
Oh, definitely, and it's a good excuse to catch up with the lads. Like, there's a few of us. I came from across the ditch. Oh, not across the ditch. Across the Kaimais. Another one from Tito. All come together. It's pretty good. 6 years running now, and I finally won it again.
Oh, beer pong.
Yeah, the beer pong, yeah. I've been runners up the last 3 years, I think, and so I was pretty happy with it.
I was going to say, there are no winners at the end of a crate.
No, I was actually at home at about 10:30. A couple of boys went to bed early, and then everyone else was just lounging around on the couches, and it's like, fuck, I might just go home. So I'm not a man. Like, when you get older, fuck.
Yeah, I think I only ever did it once in Dunedin. That's we played poker, and again, when I was like start early, finish, it's still daylight, And I have a distinct memory, for some reason I was standing on my bed, and then I fell over and landed on my desk beside my bed. I didn't have a very big room.
And you're a big man.
Yeah, and so I think I don't know if I broke the desk, but I definitely broke the chair beside it. And then there's kind of like one of those like 4 point memories of I was on the deck, and I was standing on my bed, and I was on my floor, and then I was at my girlfriend at the time's room in Arana, and like
it's like the adverts on drinking with the eyes closed with the eyeballs painted on the eyelids. You're there, but you're not there, eh?
No,
no way.
No, especially at the
I
end
remember
of
last year, I think a spirits ended up going around. And I was running around in my speedos. I don't remember shit, man.
Yeah.
So this year was a lot tamer, which it was needed.
Probably wise.
And I don't drink beer, so I don't drink a crate. So spirits ain't good, man.
Why don't you drink beer?
It's disgusting. It's fucking putrid. I tell you, I had to for a few rugby trips and stuff like that, initiations and all that. But oh mate, every time chunder. I can sink the one, but when you get to the second or third, nah, fuck that.
Yeah,
it's an acquired taste I haven't acquired, and I don't plan to. I've acquired black coffee. I can drink espressos, but
yeah. How was your entry to coffee?
Well, the old man was the coffee guy for quite a number of years. So.
What level?
What do you mean?
Like an espresso machine on his...
Yeah, so like the coffee guy franchise.
Oh, right.
So he had a van with a coffee machine in the back of it to go around selling coffees, and had a drive-through and stuff like that. So my entry to coffee was through that. Started off with hot chocolates.
Yeah. Like
a lot of us. Hot chocolates into mochas, and then it went into lattes, but I was like, oh, this is just like a watered-down mocha. Mm-hmm. And then got into long blacks. I don't know why. And then long blacks with cream at the moment. Mm-hmm. When you went overseas, it was espressos. Loved them. Quick and easy. Yeah. Different kind of culture, eh? Like at a train station, just getting a little cup and just gone. Away you go. Loved it.
Zing.
Yeah. So that was probably my entry.
Yeah, my entry to coffee. My dad was like he drinks coffee all the time. He's got an espresso machine now. But even then, me and my brothers sort of like, oh, you're not quite doing it right, John. But he's more of the opinion that like just get it in, you know. It works.
Yeah, to some degree. I'd rate that.
Yeah. Whereas now my older brother's the engineer one. He's fucking weigh the beans and.
Yeah, that's the same with the old man because he runs a calf now as well. And he got a little one at home. Yeah. And he always weighs it. I've got one at my flat. Shout out to my flatmate. She obviously brought it. I swear it's like you smell it and it's like bitter as fuck. Put a bit of cream in it. That's all good.
Yeah, that's problem solved.
Down the same. Speaking of coffees, this hot chocolate.
The hot chocolates.
It actually fucking tastes really nice.
Unfortunately, you can't get them in New Zealand. It's real rare shit. The Element was posting to New Zealand for a while there. I think someone forgot to turn off a button on my little agreement with them, and so I still get the odd thing from them. I'm not angry about it, and hopefully no one turns that button off. Yeah. A
minty, salty hot chocolate. I actually like it.
Yeah, I've got a strawberry salty hot chocolate, and it's good. I've got a caramel one that I've been, I think I've got 2 of those left. Been having that as my afternoon drink. It's
the salty aspect that hooked me out. I was like curious. Once again, curiosity gets me, and it actually it works.
Yeah, you met wee Annie. She's not that keen on that, but my daughter, she'll go a salty hot chocolate. She'll go the electrolytes as well, watermelon flavour. They're good. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend adding salt to a hot chocolate though.
No.
You wouldn't know the quantities.
Yeah, no.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I'm a middle child.
Did they ever put on like salt on your cereal instead of sugar?
I remember because we were not like sugar on your cereal until it was like you're making it yourself and you were still kind of smuggling it, but your parents weren't around to be like you shouldn't have sugar on your breakfast. But I remember my younger brother and I. Like I was one of those people that get up at Sparrows like all the time, and I'd wake him up, and he'd come with me. And my older brother must have been at a football tournament or something because he wasn't there, and we were scouting around place we used to stay in Queenstown, and under the sink there was a bowl of white powder, and so we were like, oh yeah, might be sugar. The old lick test, and yeah, it was dishwashing powder.
I was wondering. He's like, under the sink. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but when you're probably 9, you don't have the brains to.
No, you don't. You don't add 1 and 2 together, eh?
You had to have enough brains to try it before you pour it all over your cornflakes or your Weet-Bix. But yeah, no, that was a lesson learned right there. Were you sugar bowl on the table type family or?
Nah. We used to have the rices and that. But yeah, I remember one time my brother did that, or like tricked me, and I thought it was sugar, but it wasn't. It just disgusting. Chucked down the sink. It was bad.
And again, you're not smart enough that like the thing that you're not supposed to have, they're offering it to you. Like,
Have it.
Here's some sugar, man.
Yeah.
We're not actually allowed sugar. I know. Like,
what a
so
stitch up.
you're doubly in trouble here.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't tell me because that means you were smuggling sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect crime.
Pretty much.
You know, my older brother, he short sheeted our bed one time.
He what?
Short sheeted our bed.
What is so define short sheeted?
So you still have your 2 sheets on the bed, but you get your top sheet and you tuck it in at the top end and fold it around and back on itself. So then you like climb into bed and you can't get into bed.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's about the only prank you pulled out of the.
I guess not a bad one.
Yeah, some book like I think 50 things or 100 things for boys to do or something like that. Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in the day when
Back
you had
in
books.
my day when you used to read books.
My day is TikToks, mate. As we were just discussing before. Get to show you everything,
Yeah.
Life hacks.
No, life hacks, yeah. You know, that's with Annie was thinking about books. I was like, she was watching Matilda. I was like, geez, we have to get you onto Bad Jelly and BFG and what's another Roald Dahl books. Yeah, they're good. Were you a reader? Nah,
not at high school.
Not at high school.
Or not throughout until only recently.
Did handboys do sustained silent reading? No,
I didn't do English. Well, I did, but
this was in our form class. Yeah,
like nah.
Well, maybe it wasn't our form class. Maybe it was just our.
I had this low key drama teacher. Most likely smoked a lot of pot from Canada. From Canada. Nice, from Canada. Nah, man.
Yeah, I was talking about that the other day because Nicole was like, "Oh, apparently the thing to do is called the teacher Matua and fire these days." I was like, "What are you talking about these days?" I was like, "We had Matua and fire all through our school. Matua Jeremy especially." I was like, "Oh, yeah, he got arrested for possession of marijuana." I was like, "The dreadlocks were probably the big giveaway."
Yeah, it'll do it.
Often wearing sunglasses was probably a like big obvious sign that he was.
Mate, if you're a high school teacher, kudos to you.
He was a primary school teacher.
Oh, damn.
Good cup hugger teacher though.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject at the moment, eh?
What is that?
The Māori thing.
It's all on. Yeah.
I've got no foot to stand on, eh?
Yeah, it's living in a place like Taupo where you get some opinions and you're like, did I ask you?
Yeah, it's that kind of win, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, enlighten me, like let me know what is going on. But at the same time, I don't interact with many people like that.
Yeah. Who do you interact with at work?
Oh, the lads at work.
Yeah.
It's pretty small.
So the project comes across your desk and you just go for it.
Yeah, so pretty much we roll with, you got salesmen, you sell a project, sell a concept to a company, and then we got design engineers, so like myself, who get to design it, so elaborate on the concept, make it actually work, hopefully. It's all in our heads, so in our 3D model in front of us, create the parts, assemblies, drawings, so someone can create them. Then they go through procurement, ordering bits and pieces, and also into manufacturing. So we got the lasers, the mills, welders, fabricators who make the machines, and then we have assembly who put it together, sparkies wire it up, and then automation engineers who are on it from the start, already pre-coding, writing all the code, and then at the end they're commissioning it, making sure they can pick up stuff if it's picking up, making sure it goes the right direction, and then we also got a service team and stuff like that. So I interact with a lot of people, but at the same time there is a little bit of segregation between, say, like design automation and that to manufacturing to production, but you try and interact through, like I'm someone who does interact with everybody, but there are some people that just stick to themselves.
And so the sales guys have to be pretty cognizant of the process your machines are going into.
Yeah. So they see everything. They've been there for years.
Yeah.
They know what's going on.
So are they picking up new clients?
New I actually think
systems?
that 80-20% rule does work well with us as well, in terms of 80% of our work comes from 20% of our customers.
Yeah.
So like Tatua, Sinlay, you mentioned Sinlay as well. They're the kind of people that keep on coming back because they know our machines work and they've got a bit of money to actually spend it, as opposed to buying some Chinese pieces of shit, you know, because you go on a cheap budget. So yeah, they know a lot.
How long has your company been around?
40 years now.
Yeah.
I think it was this year or last year they cracked 40. But it never used to be what it is now. Like it started off with aerospace stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guy as a hobby, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Expanded, and now we do automated machines.
Yeah. Yeah, what are they? Hamilton engineering specialists. They do hip sockets and and like QS for all the surgical equipments. They make rifle stocks. They make airplane components.
See, that does sound interesting. So, my company's RML. Shout out to them. Plug. No. But it's exciting stuff. Like what comes in goes out the door as our prototype, as our final model. Quite often we haven't done it before. It's all customized stuff. But I was talking to a fellow worker who left and he went contracting, and I was talking to him and about what he's been up to, and some of it was similar stuff, but he's had a couple of his colleagues designing handrails for an entire mall. Like, how boring is that? When I moved over to Tauranga, someone was like, oh, you can get a job here, and it was a pipe fabrication.
A what?
Pipe fabrication?
Yeah.
Imagine just dealing with pipes all day.
Dual circles.
Fucking boring, man. I used to catch drips at a meat factory once. It didn't last long, eh?
What did you catch?
Drips.
So what? Because I've worked at a meat factory. My first role, I was in one of the boning rooms, and there's a fat flap on the rump. It must be like a cap or something. And my job was to grab that off the belt and box it up, and then press it, and then put it on the next belt, or not belt. Is it a belt? I don't know. Thing. I mean, yeah.
Conveyor belt or whatever. Yeah,
just went off to.
No, I was scraping meat off a bone.
Yeah.
Because I finished university and was like, I just needed a summer job.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. Oh, Meatworks. I know someone who's working in Meatworks before, got good money, did heaps of hours, whatever. Sweet as. Scraping meat off a bone, boring as fuck. I hated the environment, stunk like mad. Ended up getting nightmares. Like the one time I've ever got nightmares about something, and then it's just like you focus on your breathing, and then you start thinking about your breathing, and then you start thinking about your rib cage, and then scraping meat off your rib cage, kind of thing. I was like, fuck, I gotta quit. So I walked in there, like I never quit a job.
Was it beef or
yeah, beef. Yeah, beef, yeah. Hardy, like been in the workforce, still young, like still haven't really grown up, to be honest. I was only 21. Lots changed since then. And then I went into the main room and just like asked to leave, and they're like, okay, we've got another job. You do this extra job for us, and see you later, kind of thing. And we did that extra job for the 1 day instead of the 3, because we did the quota, which was just like helping meat. And then so from there, I just had to send boxes up a line, catch drips, and collect the patellas and put them in the box.
Yeah.
Fucking dumbest job ever.
Well, that's the same with me. I gave them 2 weeks notice, and they're like, we don't usually get this. And I was like, oh, okay. That's all right. I just started working on the loom machine.
Most people will probably just leave, but we're being nice and polite. Like, hey man, like this ain't for me.
Yeah. Well, I was going to uni, and so then I worked my way up to the loom machine. I was bagging full legs to send off to Waitrose in the UK, and then they're like, right, tomorrow you're going to go out to the chiller, and I was stacking boxes for the
done and dusted
forklift to pick up the big crate and chuck it into the snap freezer.
So we've actually just had this. I've just had this conversation with my CEO the other day, because I was talking to one of the young fellas who came in, and we were just having a yarn, and quite often you talk to someone about what you do, and quite often it's an old person who'll be like, oh, so you're taking people's jobs. And it's like, well, fuck, like...
Oh, in terms of automation?
Yeah, and like we kind of are. And then I was telling the CEO about it, and he was saying that he just went to meet Ārepa Honey the other week, so we've just done a massive job for them.
Yeah.
And there's people screwing on lids to jars of honey.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. This other lady was stacking 3 jars into a box, 3 jars into a box, 3 jars into a box. So what we're actually doing is we get to automate that and unleash their potential doing something else, because we know that they can do something better than that.
Yeah.
And as well, like demand's going through the roof. So if you can't make demand over across the board, at least you can put a machine in here, automate that, and then put those people back where like they need help.
Yeah, well, it's even the same.
We're upskilling the community.
Talking with someone from JJ Richards, and they were tendering for the waste management contract down Hawke's Bay, and they've got wheelie bins, and they didn't win the tender. And he's like, it's absolutely ridiculous to still be running crates and bags. It's like, one, it's like, the waste is shocking. Wouldn't you put your rubbish in a bag? Yeah, and then he's like saying like it's all very well, like it is a great outdoor job, but people get injured all the time. The health and safety of that job is horrific.
The ergonomics, man.
Oh, yeah.
Lifting techniques.
Yeah,
poor.
Yeah. Well, you got to run around and grab and throw and all this sort of stuff. It's like we're lucky to hold someone on for 3 years, and it's like, and so then we've just got this big staff turnover problem, and training problem. Like we waste so much time and money on training. Whereas if you have like a upskilled class, I guess they're a class 2 driver, and they're in
it's a transferable skill, isn't it?
Yeah, they're in a cab, and
so these people get to learn how to use a HMI, so human monitoring interface or something.
Yeah.
So basically a computer system, how to run a machine. Like
Yeah.
once you learn the fundamentals of that, you can go into other machines as well. Because we all run basically the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even like out here at Kinley thing, it's like as an operator, you've got far more transferable skills than a person that
screws lids on a jar
or like
catches drips.
Well, that forklift is a transferable skill, but yeah, I transfer this into this furnace. Yeah. Have you heard about that? Tinder having an F endorsement is a meme.
No.
Do you have an F endorsement?
No. What is the F endorsement?
Forklift.
Nah.
Oh, is that like forklift certified?
So you're saying you can put that on your Tinder account?
People put that at their Tinder account.
Oh, damn, spicy, eh?
Spicy skill. Yeah, I was like, I don't.
They must be good at parallel parking.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a green flag.
I don't have an F endorsement on my license, but I've been forklift certified for TY mini smelter. I think I might have done it at the Meatworks as well. Actually, done the F site certificate.
You don't need a Tinder, so it's all good.
No, yeah, I've used that already.
Is that how you met?
That was the secret. Yeah, that's what I say to people now. Is like, the old fashioned way, Tinder.
Yeah, well now it's like Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, Grindr.
Slide into the DMs.
Yeah, nothing's working for me.
Yeah. I was watching Billy Darcy. He's an Aussie comedian. He nails some topics so good. He's like a real cricketing nut as well. And yeah, that was his little comedy sketch that he put out there, like calling someone is the worst thing you can do. He's like, I left a voice message. He's like, needless to say, I haven't heard back from that. Like, do you want to catch up on Wednesday? Thought I was saving us some time. No. Completely ghosted.
Yeah, I just told you about a ghosting story too. Different kind of context, but not the nicest thing to do.
Yeah, it's that speed to know. Like, no, like, you just say no. It's not wasting everybody's time.
Yes, yeah. I think I was still Seamus about it. Like, he talks about the waffle copter when he goes to ask a question, and I realise I do that too quite often with just general life. Cut to the chase, mate. Just no, yeah, saves everybody time.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about this. Yeah. Can I get back to you?
Well, I did hear something recently that it was. I can't even remember who it was. No, he was on Diary of the CEO, I think, and High Performance Podcast, but he's talking about like increasing your life, whatever. And he's basically, this guy would never agree to anything on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
He'd always say, "I'll get back to you like tomorrow morning" or something. And that way, then he actually got to process it. Mm-hmm. And if he didn't want to do it, it was, nah, sorry. And the next morning, like, because everyone can wait.
Yeah, and that's from the other end of the spectrum. That's why salespeople do call you on the phone and talk to you.
So it's there straight away.
So it's there, and there's pressure and all that sort of stuff. Or come into your place of work and buy you a coffee and be like,
"Yeah, you're keen, eh? Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah,
doing their body language, nodding their head at you all the time. Yeah.
You get sucked in, eh?
Make say 5 yeses, and then you go, I didn't make any decisions, so it's all right. I can't help you there. Nah, yeah. Have you been down that road of like sales and?
No, man, I don't have the talent
yet.
Nah. No, I worked at the warehouse as a kid, and like even just learning that you're supposed to be able to sell an Eskimo, a freezer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Never touched base with me, and then I know if you want a product, you'll come and get it.
So what was the exercise there? Were you on the checkout and you got all those?
Oh no, I was like 15 to 20
yeah.
years old, just working on the shop floor,
mm-hmm.
and jewelry counter and security. But it's just like you're trying to be taught how to approach customers and go, do you need a hand? What do you want us to buy?
Mm-hmm.
And try to upsell, all that kind of shit. Which as a young 15, 16-year-old, you don't really give two shits. You're too scared to talk to anybody to begin with. You know, like you don't want anyone asking you for anything. But no, like if you really want something, you're gonna buy it. I'm not gonna try and upsell you. Like, it's all good. I'm not here to waste your time.
Yeah, I worked at the movies. That was kind of easy because it was like
What movie? You're here to watch a movie. You're
Yeah.
gonna watch a movie. Like
Yeah,
that's
and then it
all
was
good.
like, would you like anything else? And then they had their like price anchoring quite good. You buy a popcorn. It's like, well, would you like a drink too? It's only this much more.
Yeah.
So they were like, it was real like obvious sells.
Yeah.
And everybody sees it and everyone buys a combo. It's real interesting.
The combos do it well. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's that thing is like you see something, and it's not even gill math. Like that shit's crazy. But like 2 Vs for $4 or 1 for 3.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm saving all this money. But at the same time, you're spending an extra $1.
Yeah.
Like you spend more to save more, and it just doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, and it's funny.
But
like,
it hooks you every time.
Yeah, it's funny. Like looking on the other side, it's all about like, average order value, average basket spend, all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah.
It's not the short quick sales. You want more money in that one transaction.
Every time there's a transaction, you want there to be a higher spend.
Yeah. Nah, it's not me, man.
Have you been to that new spot in Hamilton East?
Made, yes.
Yeah.
I popped in there the other week to catch up with my friend Ashara, and beautiful place, eh?
Yeah.
It's real modern. I think it is. I haven't actually been out the back, but it's quite good. Like it's organic, all that kind of juicy kind of shit. So I'd say pretty expensive, but very lovely place.
Yeah, and that's what we were sort of chatting about. Like it's gonna be interesting, the fruition of that place. Like each of those little like these small spots, even the catering spots are like reasonably small shop fronts, and we're like, where's all their stock stored? Where's all their where's all their kitchen space? And like in a place like that that's got a high rent, you want to be doing large volume, but where do you keep all your stock, and how do you make enough food to supply a large volume? Like hopefully that place is rammed, but then do you have enough stock and
well, maybe because it's so expensive they don't get a lot of people coming through, so they don't actually take much stock.
And then like is Burger there is like the leader, like they pay the same lease but have a bigger space, or
True.
No, it would be fascinating to know the ins and outs of it.
Because there's a lot of them from the farmers market that have gone there, right?
Oh yeah.
So the Sunday farmers market in Claudelands.
Yeah.
So I know of a friend, or maybe not really a friend anymore, another story. But she's put her product in like a room, not a room, like a stall that multiple people put in. So say if you make product A, I do B, and there's up to Z, and then we'll rotate days working.
Right.
So you do it Monday, I do it Tuesday, she does Thursday, kind of thing. So they all work together as a collective.
Yeah.
Selling each other's product.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So new concept, new different environment. Like there's no like checkouts, there's no like doors and shit. Like it's all open plan. Like like I said, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah. So where did you pay at each site?
Each individual site. Yeah. But that store specifically will go through that one store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, I would have been an accountant.
Oh man. Yeah. Nah.
Didn't get caught up in numbers.
Nope.
No.
Well, I was good with numbers, but I didn't like the idea of spreadsheets.
So did you have a chat with the guidance counsellor or no?
Nah. So it's something that would have been cool. But even then, I still don't even know if I really knew what I would have wanted to do. I think my, male's frontal lobe develops when we're like 24, 25.
Yes.
Something like that. Like, did you have a quarter life crisis at 25?
Yeah, so my 25th birthday, because I was still at uni.
Yeah.
We had a guy,
why were you still at uni?
because I did postgrad for optometry.
Yeah, okay.
So, I did 3 years bachelor of science and then 4 more years for optometry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I turned 25 in my last year. Got some state link after that for 3 months. That was great. But in our rugby team with this guy, Carl, I think might have been 40 or something like that. And then we had another guy, Steve Kumrich, he was a similar age. So, like, at least a couple of older guys on our team. And there was sort of me and a couple of others that were sort of 24, 25, 26. And then the rest were school leavers. So we were the development team. So we'd sort of, up at varsity, we had 19s, we had 21s, we had premiers, and we had development as well. And so we kind of were kind of the glue team. We'd be supplying each and every team, or be the spillover for other players and things like that. And for my 25th, I was like, right, I'm having a quarter life crisis meeting. Went to the old Canton in Kingsland. Great Chinese restaurant if you're ever in the area. Lazy Susans and all, and we'd got, I don't really remember the night, but yeah.
So what, did you have a like?
Nah. Just that was what it was called. But then when I finished duty, I like moved to Christchurch, and it was a big like, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah, because you've been in the educational system ever since you were a little kid.
Yeah, and like
you somewhat get into the real world, but you're not in the real world.
Nah.
When you're studying.
Yeah.
Like, so it is, but it isn't.
So I had my beautiful $2,000 overdraft. And I was like, right, you got to start paying that off now. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I was like, had no car, and I'm like, well, how the fuck do you buy a car? So I think by the time I got to the end of the overdraft, it was like, oh yeah, I'll get a loan for a car because the old earning capability. And then my car got stolen. So
before ram raids as well.
Yeah, I went home for the weekend. I came back to the street. I'm like, "What the fuck's my car?" All that was left was a little spark plug. And so yeah, I started going out with this girl at the end of that year, and for the most part, that was a horrific relationship.
Yeah. Character building.
Yeah, like we were talking about the carnivore diet there before. She was a vegetarian. And I was having like that's when I started journaling about my my deer farm. So yeah, she sort of it might have been a bunch of projection, but that's all right. She was like, you should journal, and so I started journaling, and then she's like, you should go to do psychotherapy, and I was like, what the fuck do I need psychotherapy for? But it was reasonably valuable. Yeah. I went along being like, do I have depression? I didn't really know, and he's like, nah. He's like, but you are pretty harsh on yourself. I was like, yeah, I've been trying to get A+ for the last 7 years and been getting B's and B+. Like, I was like, of course I'm rough on myself.
So do you still journal today?
Yeah.
So you've been doing that since you're 25?
Yeah, 10 years now.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back? Do you ever read back?
Yeah, Nicole was asking me last night. Sometimes. Yeah. So this latest one I've had for 3 years. So yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, I have seen you put a photo up every now and then. What do you actually do in your journal?
So I grabbed that quote.
Yep.
So yeah, just try find a quote.
And you just write down like what it means to you.
Nah. So I start off with the date. I write "Start Again." Have you seen the Rich McCall movie?
No.
That's what he wrote there. Then I wrote "Win." So what's important now? That comes from this mental skills coach for the Chiefs, Aaron Walsh. I only started doing that last year. I think I heard him on What's Next or on Keep the Change, one of the two. And then I write 24,800, which is how many seconds there are in a day, and 33,000, which is on average how many days you'll live.
How many seconds, sir?
It's one of those 48,600 or something
like that. Double that,
46,800.
Because I always remember it's like 86,000 something.
Or maybe it's that.
Because I talk about it in a sense that if you have that amount of money
86,400.
Yeah. If you have that amount of money every day, you'll spend it. If the next day you get another 800, then why don't you use that for your time every day?
Yeah.
Like spend those seconds, like, because as if they're money.
Yeah.
Like spend them all. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. So how I think about them. So both those two numbers are sort of like a memento mori thing from Stoic philosophy. So acknowledging that one day you're going to die. So there's 33,000 days in your life. What are you doing with each one of those days? And that's what, again, when you're journaling, you're being present in that day to day. And then I think about the seconds thing is that there's so many seconds in the day, like you say, there's so much value in the day. But if that 1 second of the day is not going so well, there's still plenty more. So move on from that second, and you can continue to make a positive impact. You can positively influence people and make better in the world. So in the front of my journal, there's my why, and that's like that's again another thing I did at the end of university. My brother sent me 2 TED Talks. So that previously was when he was at Waddies, and he had a bit of a existential crisis himself, and was like, I found these really valuable. Watch him. And so I came up with help people see the world to the best of their abilities and improve people's lives. And so that can be like being an optometrist. Help people
I was going to say, is this physically or is this also...
Yeah, but then it can be like everything you do, help broaden everybody's outlook on things. So that can be the podcast as well. Like what I do is helping to people to see that, life less ordinary. There's people doing things that are not just the run of the mill, and people take like so many vast and diverse journeys, and mine's been not linear at all. And like I have these big audacious goals, like owning this deer farm and things like that, and before that, owning an optometry practice and helping that sort of lead the way into farm ownership and things like that. But yeah, each day you've got to, you've still got to show up and go to work.
So you are a morning journal person or evening journal person?
So I try to do it at work, and so hopefully I get into work at good enough time that I have the 5 minutes to do it. Or otherwise, when I end up with a gap in my diary diary at work, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so that like first line helps me start writing, starts to get me thinking about like valuing the day. The quote again just gets me in the moment of writing something out. So you've already written like 3 or 4 lines already, and then I do, which is interesting with your podcast, 3 things of gratitude, 3 affirmations, and then a practice of sort of call it future gratitude or future visualization. So I picture myself like sitting on that farm in my lounge and like looking back on my life and like habits or behaviors that I would be proud of.
Yeah.
So like aspirational ways of living your life, but in a way that you're visualizing, looking back, that you're really proud of yourself.
Why do you think visualization is such a key aspect to life? Because to me, it's kind of like you start looking at the way you want to act, so you start acting like you envision yourself. You're going to be like that, so you're going to start acting like that.
Yeah. Have you heard of like Jordan Peterson's like future writing or something? So again, that's like a way to sort of explore the next 5 years of your life or your whole life. Mm-hmm. That's a similar idea. And yeah, that it creates like another layer of sort of self accountability, I reckon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you become more emotionally attached to it. Like you get that pride in yourself, and then like when you behave in that way, you sort of like it's reinforcing, psychologically reinforcing. Yeah. At 25, I started. Yeah, that's when I started like reading all this stuff. 4-Hour Workweek was later, but yeah, Tim Ferriss, Gary V, 26 or 7's got old.
See, that's another one, like that 4-Hour Workweek. Yes, fucking phenomenal book. But it's only relatable to a certain kind of cohort. Like, not everybody can do it.
No.
I've just been grateful to be a part of this mentorship program that Soda is running in Hamilton with Callaghan Innovation, and
nice.
I went to their...
That's good collab.
I've hardly do jack shit, to be honest, as a mentor, but I got to go to their welcoming event, and they had the Mike Jenkins or something. He's the founder of the Distillery, which is a tech company in New Zealand, massive. And he was the founder, sold it, and gone on to other things. And he had a speech or like presentation, whatever. Phenomenal, inspirational, all that kind of shit. Like amazing. He's an entrepreneur. He talks about go get it, like all that kind of shit. But you're talking to a room of engineers, or science, because it was STEM, so science, technology, engineering, manufacturing. But there's quite a lot of like people like me, like mechanical engineers. It's like, it's hard to be an entrepreneur in a mechanical engineering field. Like, what are you going to do? Reinvent the wheel? It's kind of difficult. But like as a tech, 100% go hard. If you want to be a startup in science, then you need the funds, you need the money, you need the experience, you need everything. So yeah, it's good reading books, getting different aspects, but it's not always relatable to everybody. Yeah. But that's the bit where you just pluck out little bits of knowledge from every single person and like just chuck it in your toolbox for maybe one day you'll use it.
Yeah, and that's like what I have, like huge passion and huge knowledge, and it's like I want to implement them in my own way, and then it's like both like I have these like fuck it moments. I'm just gonna go farming, but then it's like, well, what do you want out of, like I spoke to this deer farming guy. He's like, what do you want out of deer farming? Do you want to farm deer, or do you want to own a farm? I was like, I want to own a farm. He's like, keep being an optometrist. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then same when it comes to like a practice, I've got like this big vision of what I want to do. I've got a business plan that Nicole and I have like written out, but I've like had it in my head for like basically the whole time. Probably like because I wanted to be an optometrist when I was 12. Yeah. So even then I was like drawing a practice and like doing logos and like thinking about like helping people, and like at one stage I was like thinking, oh, maybe I could do like the traveling optometrist bus or whatever it is, like helping out rural people, like, salt of the earth people that just, so busy and so they can't get out there. So like all these things of like ways that I can see it, and then it like gets to it, and it's like and then you want to buy a practice, and it's like, oh well, I just want to sell it to you. It's like, oh, you don't want to do any vendor finance, or don't want to do like shareholding and buying in, and like no, or like, you know, and then it's kind of like, well, you go to the bank and they're like, oh, we could lend you, like, how much is in your house? You're like, oh fuck, like we just bought it. It's like, oh, oh well, no, there's not really any money we can give you. It's like, oh fuck, it's capital.
yeah.
And then same for buying a farm. It's like you basically just need capital.
Fall in love with the image as well.
Yeah,
a lot of people do.
Yeah, so then it's just like, all right, back to work, carry on working. Yeah, that's
stability as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, like back to that quarter life crisis. I'm interested in that. I know it is your podcast.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Do you think you actually had a quarter life crisis? Where you kind of realized that there's more to the world than what you think?
Yeah, so at that point in time, so it was like August, so we must have finished rugby. So that year we sort of got rebuilt as the development team the year before, and we got knocked out in the semi-final. And then this next year we sort of like rebranded ourselves as Rebels, and like we get a really good team together. We've made the final, and the summer before I'd gone down to Southland and made the Sevens squad. I went to the qualification tournament, like scored a try against Canterbury. Like I think we beat Canterbury in one game, and then we lost them in the final. And then trained all summer, and then like the week before the tournament in Queenstown, all of a sudden all the academy players come along to training, and they go to the tournament. I was just like, what the fuck was that last month for? And then so the guy that I'd been talking to in Southland, who was a rugby manager, was like, oh, go back, try get as heavy as you can, and play open side. So I'd been playing fullback and centre up until then. And so I managed to put on 10 kgs. So that summer I ran what did I do? I think a 19 yo-yo, I think I'd done. And then the next year when I came back, we did beep test for some reason. And I think I did a 13.6 yo-yo beep test, and I got myself up to 104 kgs from 90 kgs in the space of a year. So I was still like fit as hell, but I like put on 10 kgs. And yeah, then that season they didn't take me to the qualification tournament. And then all through the training, we were like playing against Otago every other week, and like I was playing all those games, like playing mean, and then same thing comes again, like, oh, we're going to bring in a couple of academy players, and non-tripping reserve again. I was like, fuck's sake. Yeah. And so like, yeah, I was on that journey to like go back to Southland and do it, and I knew that there was like these older guys in the team that I had got on really well with, and I knew that I just like needed that sort of like, I guess it was like, I'm finishing uni, it's, you know, the next part of my life is about to happen. So what's that? 13 years of this dream, and I'm about to realize it. Like, I guess it was just like a good touch point.
Because you asked me about, did I have like a mentor or something, like a guidance person? Did those old gentlemen in your team, were they able to tell you, hey mate, follow your optometry?
I think it was funny because it was like I made a joke of it, but you know, them being 40 or whatever, they were like, yeah, that's a legit thing. Like, life's about to change.
yeah.
And yeah, so then when I did psychotherapy, it was just that real easy tool of like, mate, you've got low self-esteem. All you really need to look at this is when you're listening to that voice in your head, like try and listen to it, hear what it's saying, and be like, is that how you talk to somebody else in the same problem? And it was just like the easiest switch.
Fuck it does, eh?
I was like, oh, that's really simple. And I was also journaling.
Yeah.
And yeah, then we moved to, so then I got into the Canterbury Sevens team again, non-travelling reserve. Came up to the Mount for the Mount Sevens in January. That was awesome. Yeah, that was like a step up of like systems and training and like actually playing with good players. Like Amanaki Nicole is in the New Zealand team now. Sam Dixon, who's sometimes the captain, he came and trained with us. Mark Checkman, who had been in the New Zealand Sevens team, was in that team. A guy that played for Samoa was in that team. Who else was there? There's another guy that was in the New Zealand Sevens team, Joe Rivova, who went and played for the New Zealand Sevens after that season. But so it was like really fucking awesome. Like, and I was just,
It's mean when you can recite that.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, that's as high as I got. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
like I just kind of like snuck my way in the same way I snuck my way into Southland. Like, I had no real right to be there.
Yeah.
But I just had like this little bit of experience with playing for Southland. I'd played like all these seasons for varsity at club level, in Auckland where it's pretty high level, and going to club sevens at the Mount and stuff, like playing against good players, and then get going like almost all the way with Canterbury was just kind of like real cheeky, like, well, I'm still here. Every week I'm still here. Yeah, and then then I moved to Hamilton, and I'd done young professionals in Christchurch, and then I got to Hamilton and I was like, wow, where's all the 25-year-olds at? They're like, I couldn't find them anywhere, eh? Like, I'd be at Les Mills and I'm like, these are all like school leavers, uni students, and old people who are like trying to get back in shape. And same when I was playing at Hotapu, they were all school leavers, and I was like, oh man. And then I got to go on Ryla, even though I was older. Did you ever go to Seed in Hamilton?
No. I know what it is, but no, I never did.
Yeah, so at Ryla,
what's Ryla?
Rotary Youth Leader Award.
Okay.
I like read the room, and then on the last day, Gemma, she sort of ended up being the CEO for Seed for a long time, and she sort of drove it. I said to her, I was like, this is what we need to do in Hamilton. And so then, like, for the next year, do you know Thomas Nabbs that was just on Between Two Beers?
Yes.
So
I did yoga with his brother.
Oh, nice.
His brother was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Their whole family's insane.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, Jono as well. He's awesome.
What a story though.
Yeah.
With the parents dying and stuff.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to go around to Tom's house. His girlfriend at the time, she was into like, I guess like creating brands, creating market fits and all that sort of stuff. And they did it a couple of workshops, and then eventually that's when my ex got pregnant with my daughter, so we stopped being involved. But that's what turned into Seed, and it was like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a youth or young professional kind of outfit, eh?
Yeah.
Where they can connect and
without just like, I don't know, going to Good George and getting sloshed. It was about creating meaningful connection was the sort of seed of that. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question. One more from me.
Yeah, that's good.
So this popped up with me a while ago. I was like, with all the running that I was doing, and someone was like, "How the fuck do you do it?" And I said, "Well, fuck, like, it's not motivation, kind of thing."
Yeah. No, shit,
and then we talk about it, and so it's a question that I pitched to my best friend as well, Lashar, and then to my podcast guest the other day. That's not out yet, but if motivation plants the seed, what waters it? So for you, like, what gets you out of bed early in the morning? What gets you to the gym?
Yeah, just over there in that garage.
So your 2 feet, that's quick and easy. No excuses right there, man.
Nah, so it's...
Because what I mean, motivation is fleeting, eh?
Yeah, I like the Jocko thing, discipline equals freedom. And that's
that is true.
Yeah, that's where that little bit of, like, harsh critic inside of your head's quite good. Like, I call myself a pussy quite a lot in the morning.
Do you?
Yeah. What's Jerry call it? Inner bitch.
Yeah, the inner bitch.
Yeah.
Put your fucking shoes on, boy.
Yeah, I've still got that head, but like that's when I use it for good. And then like, I've done the reps for so long that I know that it feels really good. Yeah, so
it becomes a non-negotiable.
Yeah, right? I'm so lucky with that.
But when you boil it down, it comes to purpose, your values, that kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I know if I'm starting to fade, it's pretty easy to look and go, like, simply, when did you last work out? And then to a higher extent, like, when did you last do a Wim Hof session, or like Lana Shakti Mat, or stretch, or whatever. Yeah, move your body. I listened to that Gary Bricker episode again the other week, and it was like about talking about grounding, and I was like, oh yeah, I should probably like really be sure that when I go from here to the garage that I do walk on the lawn and just like take that moment, and like especially now that you got like the birds and the sun's coming up, and like I ran this morning because fucking Circle of Savages wants to do the Goggins challenge. Jesus Christ.
Just 4x4 by 48, eh?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I better do some more running.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just like, man, what a great day after doing that. Yeah.
It kickstarts your day, eh?
Yeah.
But what's this grounding? What do you mean? I've heard about people talking about
It's just
it before.
literally standing on the ground.
And what is the purpose of that? Like, I know meditation, you know, clearing your head, breathing does a lot for you, but
It's pretty woo to explain it. It's basically like exchanging ions with the earth.
touching base with Mother
Earth. Like, yeah, you can get quite sort of yogic with it, like your four corners of your feet, your stability and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I interviewed one of my friends as well through, she's yogi, so Ainsley, and down in, was it Taumaranui? Or somewhere, anyway, we went for a walk with her partner afterwards, and she's like, don't bring your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, out in there, up in the bush, like, with the dog and the boyfriend and that. And you're just muddy everywhere. I'm like a city guy. I'm like, what is this shit? But she's like, ground yourself.
Yeah. Where did you do your yoga training?
Oh, I didn't.
didn't?
No, I do yoga. She's a yoga instructor now as well. Yeah.
What studio do you go to?
So Ārepa Studios. So one in Hamilton, St Andrews Road, Sandwich Road.
Yeah.
Off Sandwich Road, in St Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what type of yoga is that?
It's mainly Vinyasa flow.
Nice.
They do a bit of yin as well, which is again phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, because I started, I've got the story that I started when I became single, and I couldn't touch my toes, and I was single. So I was like,
fix one.
Yeah, can touch my toes, still single. Like, what, 5-6 years later, whatever. And then, yeah, I loved it at the gym with a couple lads. And then at the time, Ārepa Studios wasn't a thing. It was just down $5 yoga class in a dojo, a Thursday night, a Tuesday and a Thursday night. And so at this stage as well, so I was doing rugby under 21s, phased out of that, became a chore, didn't actually like it, went to a shitty club, not a shitty club, a great club, not a good performing club. I think that year I may have won one game.
Yeah.
But playing with the lads, you know, for the fun of it, for the enjoyment. But the other aspect was I didn't want to commit anymore.
Yeah.
So every Tuesday night I was at yoga, and every Thursday I'd go to training.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was like my entry as well into yoga. And then eventually, Lashara and her mum built Ārepa and booked the studio and that, and just I've been in love with it ever since.
Nice.
And it became from like a physical challenge, you know, like it's a good movement, good sweat up, to being more present with self, focusing on the breath. So every flow, like every position, is like inhale, exhale. But it's a time for me to deload, time for me to turn up and give myself some time, some space, and just switch off. Yeah.
Yeah, I again, that end of uni, that was again someone I found with that ex-girlfriend. Like I said, it was a toxic relationship, but there was lots of good things came out of it. She took me along to the Hare Krishna yoga in Auckland, the Loft. So that was like Monday night maybe, and they'd sort of, take you through the practice of yoga. They didn't really talk too much about the technicalities of what you were doing. It was just more the positions and finding the positions and things like that. And then you'd have a Hare Krishna meal afterwards. So that was vegetarian, and then like all off the farm that they have out in West Auckland. So it was like real wholesome stuff. And then when I moved to Christchurch, just down the road from me, there was a hot yoga studio. My sister-in-law actually sort of does some work for them now. And all this time in early 2013, I tore my labrum in my hip and saw an orthopedic surgeon, and he was like, you've got, like, it's pretty gnarly in there. You have this thing called cam impingement, where the neck of your femur is too broad, smacking onto the hip socket, and you've torn the labrum. And so I applied for ACC, and they said nah. I did have health insurance then at the time, but then I was also kind of like, I don't want to quite use that yet. So I was finding that yoga was really helpful, and especially when I did this hot yin class, and we did swan pose in 30 degrees, and I just had my leg up around my ears, and I walked out of there being like, oh my god, this is what it's like to have free hips. And then I joined Les Mills in Christchurch and started every Monday and Wednesday, and maybe even Fridays as well. I think I was doing it 3 times a week. I was going and doing the Les Mills version, so it's like Pilates, yoga, and
like balance,
Tai Chi. Yeah, body balance, that's the one.
Yeah.
And so that was helping to manage my hip, because I'd done that 7th season, and again, because I hadn't played rugby in 2014, I tried to put on a bit of weight, worked on my speed, did a bit of weight, but then got quite tight.
Yeah.
And so then I managed
sacrifices were made.
I managed it better through that rugby season, and so I'd in my warm up for rugby I used to do like pigeon pose and headstands and like all this sort of shit. And even at Hotep I used to do that. Like anyone listening to this that used to play with me at Hotep would have seen my weird warm up. Like a bit of a headstand, change her into a handstand. Yeah.
That's a sight to see. Hey, for a rugby player, headstand. That's not a good warm up, mate.
Warm up in the neck. No,
I was gonna say neck. You're a forward. I suppose you'd need that.
And I used to be able to do a pretty good back bend back then. I'm shit at it now. My back's so tight.
So I didn't do it all last month because I'm too busy running, and I only do it when I'm in Hamilton. And then went to first class in ages yesterday, and back bend, did a full wheel. I was like, oh shit, still got it. Like
nice.
That feels good, man.
The one thing I found real weird running is like when I train like muscle ups or bar work, I'm not very good. But then I did like training for ultra marathon, and I jumped on a bar and was like whoop, up to the top on a muscle up. I was like, what the fuck is that? I asked the person in the gym.
Losing weight?
Nah, I put on weight. It was real weird. But it's just like, especially when you're running, as you know now, you've run 21 Ks every morning. Yeah. When you're running like 21 Ks before breakfast and before work, you're just like so much time under tension through your core and holding that core stability that then when you go and do a movement that's like a transfer movement where you need to lock that core and just allows the like,
You might have to go grab a bar then.
Yeah. See how many muscle ups you can get through.
We got a in-house CrossFit comp this weekend, so we'll see how it goes.
And so you only started that when you moved to Bubba, or you'd done it already?
What, the CrossFit? Basically when I moved over the year. So it was 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah. How have you found it?
Fucking love it, eh?
Yeah.
It's a great community. Like they did a Movember rowing thing, so 60k row, $25.
So you're doing that on top of running?
Yeah. Or you didn't have to do it by yourself.
Okay.
So we had a team of 5, and so in the team of 5 we would row a total of 60k.
Yeah.
Because the Movember is like 60 kilometers is like the kind of set challenge, just standard challenge, and they honestly must have had like 12.
I think 60 has some sort of significance about.
Yeah, it does.
Suicide attempts or something, which is not good.
So there's honestly maybe like 12 to 15 different rowers plus about 4 or 5 bikes. And there's a team on every single rower, so $25 each.
So Michael Brake jumped in there on the last day.
I actually had a good chat to him, man. Like, because I know him just through social media through Michaela. Yeah. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm pretty sure his name's Michael. And as he's walking past, I was like, Michael. And he turned around like, who the fuck said that? I was like, shit, no. But I actually had a good yarn to him, bro, and he'd be a cool guest. Because
he was, I don't know if they still are there, but my mate Pat, who I've had on a couple of times, he actually lives with them.
Oh yeah. He would be phenomenal, because I was talking to him about identity as well, because obviously he's like
finished now,
finished rowing, and it's like, what is he doing now? And he said he started up this business, but he's still kind of like the rower. Yeah. But now he's also doing coastal rowing. Yes. Which I actually went up and watched the one in Auckland the other week, and it was fucking pretty cool, man. Yeah. Different.
It looks sick, eh? Because that's one of those podcasts that you lose. When I first started out, I started talking to Paddy McInnes, who was in the 8 in 2017. And then a couple of months ago, I was down Hawke's Bay, and I was like, Paddy, you want to do a podcast? And like, it had all the signature and shit. But then when I went to play it, no sound came through. And I was just like, oh, mate.
How the fuck do you know that? Only till the end, when you go to...
Oh, it was when I went to go and try and upload it. And there was like all the little signatures that we're seeing right now, and there was no sound. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. This was the awesomest conversation. But yeah, Paddy was telling me about coastal rowing. I was like, that's loose.
So coastal rowing is you can have 2s, 4s. I don't think there's an 8, but it's like imagine
that'd be loose, eh?
Imagine 8. Yeah. This day was flat though, so there's no waves. But yeah, when there's big waves, I could imagine it'd be pretty fucking epic. But like surf life saving kind of start. So there's people in the boat, 2 on the shore, and it's 1v1. Yeah. So you run out, jump in your boat, weave through a course. Like 3 cones, turn around, come back in, and then run back in and grab the flag. Yeah,
and it is a skiff, but it's slightly wider than a rowing skiff. But you're not thinking surf boats, which are like a boat.
Nah, it's still a rowing boat. Yeah. And the waves, man, that could be cool to watch. But it was a flat day when I was up there. Yeah, but that was a good excuse to get out of Hamilton and run somewhere else and catch up with a friend.
Did you guys get to go down to Marty to watch the 8 when you were our Hamilton boys? Or
I never rode, man.
No, but like the school didn't rock on down and.
Yeah, Ham Boys Mighty 8 is like one of the best. I'm pretty sure.
But as the school, you didn't go down and watch on.
Nah. Only if you're a part of the rowing community.
That would have been cool. Yeah. What about the rugby? Was that like a whole school thing, or again just if you're involved?
Again, only if you're involved. Yeah, I'd say.
Is there did Ham Boys have any rivalry with rugby? St Paul's, right? Sort of.
See, I'm not too sure because I was never in the first and stuff.
Yeah.
I was in the year that as a third 15, we won the Hamilton division. So we beat Cambridge first 15, St John's first 15.
Yeah.
And the following year, they both left the Waikato first division.
Because the thirds won.
Because the thirds were beating everybody, yeah. And then the following year, it became thirds end up splitting into 2 second 15s. So you had a junior team and a senior team. So the senior team was the thirds, and the junior team would follow the first round in the Super 8.
Yeah.
So no, I don't really think we had a rivalry because we beat everybody.
Yeah.
Handboys in the local area. Maybe St Peter's might have been close, but
yeah.
Like, no, not really.
Yeah, I remember the second year I was in Cambridge, we didn't have a sevens team, but Leamington did. And so I jumped over the bridge and went and mucked around with them, and they hosted a tournament. And Hamilton boys came along. Quinn Dwyer was playing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Jesus, he was good.
Out the gate, eh?
Yeah, I was like, this is outrageous.
There's some superstars.
This guy's just like a 7-4, but he's just making everyone look ridiculous.
I honestly remember like being in year 9 watching Regan Ware and can't remember his name. Joe Weber.
Joe Weber, yeah.
Yeah, the two of them playing in our first, and now they're like in the sevens for years and years and years. I'm like, fuck, I remember watching them as a kid. Like, damn, some athletes they come through.
Yeah,
even like Sevu Reese, like he's been injured, but whenever I get to watch him, fucking unreal and just stacked. And you're like, fuck, I went to school with that kind of guy.
Yeah, we both seasons with Hotapu, man, us and him and whole boys, man, had some beef, and Sevu was part of that beef.
Yeah, see, then I went to school with Aiden Johnstone.
Yeah.
So he was my year group.
Nice.
But yeah, again, phenomenal man.
Yeah.
But no, see, like even
plays for a good Super Rugby team, the Highlanders.
Yeah, he's been there for years now, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's where he sort of found his home. It was kind of like, under 20s, Waikato system. Yeah, it's rough.
Because he was co-captain of Waikato.
Yeah.
And then goes down to play Super Rugby.
Plays Super Rugby.
It must be hard on his partner, especially having a second kid moving around. Like.
I think they got a house down there.
Oh, okay, that'll be right.
So I think they live down there. Yeah, which I think is what most super players do. They base themselves where their super contract is. Yeah. Do you listen to much of Waterlad?
Yes, every now and then. Yeah.
Did you listen to Shane Christie?
No.
Go back and listen to that one. Because I was talking about the mate that committed suicide earlier in the year.
Yeah, okay.
And Shane's also had real bad concussion, and he went to Mexico and did ayahuasca a couple of times. Yeah, and I don't think Marsh had actually heard of ayahuasca.
Yeah, okay.
So he
so like the whole purging and shit, he'd be like, "What the?"
Yeah,
fuck
it was a bit like that. Like,
doing?
what do you mean purge? Like, he's
yeah,
like, I was literally sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, no, I've heard a bit about that, like through Aubrey Marcus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's into.
I don't listen to many of his stuff, but yeah, definitely like way back when I started listening to podcasts, I dabbled in a few things, and yeah. Here's like Waterlad. I enjoy that because rugby stuff is relatable as well. Like,
yeah,
even say a Carlos Price interview the other week. I've listened to quite a few of his rugby ones because I kind of know of them and stuff. But another good one that Waterlad did was forgot his name right now. He plays for Ireland. He's the winger. Played for the Chiefs.
Oh, James. Fuck. Yeah. Ponytail O'Neill.
Yeah. But that was a phenomenal chat. Like, just how he was.
James
Lowe. Yeah. Phenomenal left foot kick. Like, oh yeah. But like the yarns that he had about being like expectations that he had, and like he was always the pretty boy kind of. Well, not necessarily pretty boy, but like, yeah, just get in touch to understand him because quite a lot of people hated him. But when you get to hear their own story, their own perspective of their life and what they've had to go through, it's like pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, being in Southland, hearing Corey Flynn talk the other week, I was like, because like Corey used to row, and he'd be when I was growing up, he'd be at the rowing club. Corey Flynn, Clark Termody, Jason Rutledge, they'd all be out of the rowing club from Boys High, and you knew that they were good rugby players, but then they were also like pretty good handy rowers. I think both Jason Rutledge and And Clark Dermody did a stint with like New Zealand rowing juniors before they turned into rugby players. But yeah, and then him leaving Southland and going to Canterbury, and I guess it was the same story with Justin Marshall. But like I remember the hate and stuff like that, and yeah, like hearing Corey Flynn's perspective was pretty interesting, and then like hearing his sort of battles with booze, and like I remember my mum will specifically know like times when the Boys High boys at the rowing club just like throwing up everywhere and just like out the gate drunk, and like to hear Corey's like to hear that they're like stuck with him for so long, even, and like he was kind of like known as the boozer within the Crusaders and all that sort of stuff, and like getting told to pull his head and all that sort of stuff.
My parents watched it. There's a 4-part series on David Beckham.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh, I was obsessed with David. I watched that.
I watched it like the second and third episode, and just the amount of hate that man got.
Fuck.
Like that is unreal. And when you see that, and then you go through the Rugby World Cup, how much shit that I don't know what it looked like, but the amount of shit the referee would have got. Oh, because he's retired now.
All three of them are retired. The video ref's retired now too.
Oh fuck yeah! See, like bro, just
and like,
unreal.
Same with like people talking about like Sam Cane and stuff, and like Sam Cane like feeling so disappointed in himself and embarrassing himself, and I'm like, but then you like look back in like 2001, and then like 2007, you know, like Richie was like crying and stuff like that. You're like, fuck, man, the weight of the world on those people was pretty insane. But yeah, that Beck's one.
That Beckham one was fucking...
And like Posh as well, and like...
Out the gate, man.
Because like growing up playing football, I was obsessed with David Beckham, eh? Like,
yeah.
Like when that doco came out, I saw that it was going to be on. I like chucked on Netflix, like was like, where the fuck is this thing? And it was like, oh, it comes out this day. And so then I watched the Luis Figo one.
Yeah, okay.
And like, so his transfer to like... we had 2 shit shows of a transfer, right? Like he was at Porto, he was supposed to go to the Italian league, and he was like split between I think Parma and Juventus, and so then he was like banned from the Italian league because like he said he was going to one club and then he signed with the other, and so they're like fuck.
Jeez.
And then so then he ended up at Barcelona, and he was like their hero, and won a couple of championships with them, and then it was like he's at the World Cup, he's like crushing players. And like just the man, like you watch Figo play, he just like snakes through the team. You're just like, why isn't nobody tackling him?
Yeah. And
then he was like, oh, Real Madrid want me, and that's like Barca's like enemy as well. And I'm like, what? We're dealing with like our presidents and stuff. You're at the World Cup, like we'll get to this once this is all. And so yeah, then it was like, nah, I'm staying, nah, I'm leaving, nah, I'm staying, nah, I'm leaving, nah, I'm staying, nah, I'm leaving, and then eventually he left. Yeah, and then Bex ended up at Barcelona as well. So that story is quite good as well because it helps to feed.
Marries up.
Yeah, marries up, and then it was the Dane one as well because he used to be at Juventus, and then he ended up at
I hate soccer.
At Real Madrid. Hey,
I hate soccer.
You hate soccer?
Never watched the full game. I've been to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because my old man's a fan.
Yeah.
I got to go to the top of the stadium. And
is that why your mum doesn't like it? Because your dad's a Spurs fan?
No. I just don't like soccer.
Don't like soccer?
I've don't know how it plays. Yeah. Well, I was like, you kick a ball, but when you know tactics, you kind of understand it better, but no.
Oh, that's what I'm liking as well. And like, I bet people, if they ever watch a water polo game, they'll be like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas at a water polo game, I'd be absolutely fizzing.
Because you know what's going on. Yeah.
Know what they're trying to do. Like,
I could imagine the same would be for volleyball to some degree because there's like...
Yeah, especially when you bring on a libero.
Like fades.
It's like, what's that person doing? Why don't they hit the ball?
Yeah. Like all sorts of shit, eh? Like, fuck. If you don't know the sport, it's not that entertaining.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about in Southland, eh? Like, I played softball, played volleyball, played water polo, swam, played soccer, played rugby, played sevens, played league, or watched league, fan league. My grandpa had played league for Otago and stuff. So
all round athlete.
Fucking hell. Nah, just Bella. Just small pond.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Get in the first 11 cricket, get in the first 11 football, no worries. Play men's grade when you're like 13. Doesn't matter.
Oh, shit.
There's just not enough people.
Okay, yeah.
Then you go to Auckland and it's like, oh yeah, I played National Youth League. I'll rock up for Central United. They're like, sorry, who are you? It was rough. I was first game, scored a goal off the bench. And then I had an exam on the Tuesday, and then the next week they're like, "Oh no, you're not playing." I was like, "Fuck this."
Shit.
That's when I quit soccer.
Yeah.
Had a lot going on. I was like, "Nah, don't need this."
Oh, there's a lot of sports play.
Yeah. Playing rugby was cool. Yeah. So back to that quarter life crisis thing. Like, what? I also started blogging and trying to write out the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's how like sort of the podcast was an evolution of that. Like trying to define what success is. Is that sort of like some of the questions you're exploring with other people? What did you say? 56 episodes?
Yeah, something like that. Success definition of success did pop up in one of the episodes with Josh Quartermain, because he struggles to define success, and we kind of question that a little bit. But no, the podcast started I enjoyed talking to people.
Yeah.
It's deeper than surface level shit. And a great example that I always say to people is like, I knew my friend Becca Gray, glass eye. She had an accident a few years ago. Always wanted to know stuff about like how does it make you feel? Can you like your balance? Do you notice when people look at the other eye? But whenever I'm in a situation where I could ask her, it's not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're around the table getting on the piss or something. So it was an opportunity to put a mic in front of somebody and talk to them about questions that I wanted to ask. I started off, like I said, with just all my friends. So like one of the first ones, my first one is with Shara, so the one with the yoga studio.
Mm-hmm.
So the evolution of the yoga studio. Then a friend with Crohn's disease, so depression as well, tried committing suicide. One after that was a mutual friend at the time, committed suicide. So it was her the partner.
Fuck.
So I got to talk to the partner about obviously the loss of her boyfriend, whatever, through suicide, and then just got to talk to my best friends about stuff, and then slowly it evolved into the key turning points, which it is today. There's a lot of evolutions, a lot of trial and error throughout the podcast. Like I used to start and end with the same questions, change the questions, now I don't have the questions, now I've kind of got a little couple in there again. But yeah, it's just learning how other people dealt with their issues in life, like not issues, but so the way key turning points is like key turning points that define a phase or point of your life. So like yours could be leaving university. So why was that a key turning point? How did that make you feel? What did you do? Did you seek help from somebody? That kind of thing. And then so the situation of the Crohn's disease may not be relatable to people, but trying to commit suicide, that may be relatable. But dealing with adversity, that's relatable to everybody. So putting life into perspective and understanding how other people go through it. So the guy I recorded with the other day, he lost his son in his hands, and like just born. But then again, like that was a difficult conversation because he's never really opened up. He's not an open kind of person, and you kind of have to like pull information out of it. So again, learning curves for me myself. But eventually, turns out the baby was 21 weeks, had to give birth because of a heart defect thing, and then it passed away. And then he talks about going casket shopping.
Oh man.
So like these kind of deep chats that you never fucking be able to have with anybody.
Yeah.
And then you learn what it's like, and then it puts your life into perspective and being like you're grateful for what you've got, that kind of thing. But also, say for instance, going back to Lashara, I've had her on twice. She's had 3 babies, 3 miscarriages and 2 abortions. So the story of 8 pregnancies was kind of the title, and that is super relatable. And she got a lot of feedback from that because miscarriages aren't spoken of. But that's relatable, and how you deal with it, and how everybody bundles it in. But you need to be able to talk to people, and how you decide who you talk to and stuff. So it's just evolved. And
I think Seamus passed it on in your podcast with Hayley Holt. Yeah. About like just send the message and don't expect a reply. Yeah. I was like, I had listened to that Hayley Holt episode, and then
that was great.
I knew that it had like impacted Seamus, and then he brought it up when he was talking to you. I was like, that was like a real like good hit home and a good valuable thing. And I think even when it came to the ambassadors, they were sort of like, oh, can you guys talk more about the like what to do?
Yeah.
Which like from me with this podcast, like that's what sort of resonates in moments like that, and between 2 beers, and like moments like what you're talking about there in your podcast is like, as I was telling you off air, I started, what sort of got me motivated to start it was hearing that Every Man, and that was the sort of men's emotional wellness and literacy, which in New Zealand I think we're really, really weak at, and I am specifically, and I've got better through practicing it through this podcast, like you say, creates an environment where you can be open and vulnerable.
I think there's definitely an art to it as well. It's
Yeah.
about to peel back layers.
Yeah. And that's what's really cool about documenting it and sharing it, is that it, it allows people to get it in their ears and think about it and ruminate on it and think it over. And I don't know if you're like me, you're listening to that in the car and you're sort of thinking about things, you sort of catch on moments in a podcast and you think further on, and it helps you reflect on your own life. And it's cool to keep hearing podcasts like that. It's really
once
cool.
again, it's that plucking little bits of knowledge from each and every one of everybody.
Yeah. Like I sort of toyed with the idea of starting a men's group, and I was like, like time and stuff like that. Like it was the same with Seed. Like I put a lot of energy into that, and I was like, no, time in my life I can't do that. I've got a daughter on the way.
Yeah.
I need to be going to hypnobirthing classes. Yeah. Painting a room and all that sort of shit. But yeah, it was a really useful tool, because it was kind of that like year leading in where I started listening to this guy talk about, broadening your vocabulary around emotions and acknowledging emotions, feeling them, moving on from them, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, another aspect is that questions pop up in my head.
Yeah.
Throughout the weeks and stuff, and it gives me an opportunity to ask people that.
Mm-hmm.
So like that motivation, the seed kind of thing. But also I remember way back at the beginning, Matt Warbank and then my best friend Ārepa Palmer, during that period I felt really lost.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them I was able to ask, like, well, how do you deal with the sensation or feelings of not having a purpose or feeling lost? And so like I've just had this phenomenal chat with one of my high school friends, like, or not even high school, intermediate, like childhood friends, Amber, and like we've just, first time I've cried on a podcast about her like old man passing. Then like it's like, okay, real chat here, like what do you do if I feel lost? And like just being able to share that with other people. So yeah, I'm 26. I've developed so much in the last couple of years, but I still don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've followed this white picket fence dreamline kind of thing, and you realize that that's not for everybody. And so that's another aspect of it, is trying to figure out how other people have dealt with their life, their crises, the quarter life crisis, like I was asking you, because it's very interesting in how other people do it. And yeah, like, well, how did you get through that? How did you get through that? Like there are other options out there. So it's just super interesting.
Yeah, and like I think that's what's awesome about having a diverse array of people in your life. Like it's always those sayings of like being the dumbest in the room or the least experienced in the room are super valuable, because you can see a path. But then, like I was listening to Doug Avery on the way home. He's the resilient farmer. He's from Mulberry. Was farming on a family farm, and through 5 years of drought, and it was just kind of like had let go of all his staff. There was just him left on the farm doing everything, not making money, not making pasture. And yeah, he's just like, you've got to have courage to go first step. And it's the same thing, like when you're surrounding yourself with people, you can be in that scenario of comparing up and having like no worth, or you can use them as an example of what's possible. And then if you can have enough courage to ask them, this is my situation, what would you do? Or like, how did you get from the entrance level to there? And again, on the idea of like comparing up and feeling bad about yourself, you might find that actually they had some, like your podcast says, turning points that meant that they made a big leap, or they had a breakthrough in some way, and or they had somebody come in and help them out, or give them opportunity and stuff like that. And so hang on and know that you're doing the right thing moving forward, and you're always making progress. And somewhere along the way, if you're doing the right things, that opportunity will present, and then you'll get that sort of big growth spurt.
Yeah, so those 1%ers that compound day after day after day after day. But a question there then is, if you're not the smartest in the room, how do you find that other room?
Yeah, how do you find the other room?
Like how? Like it's pretty hard.
Yeah, that was why when I was at Ryla, I was like, we need to start something.
Yeah, it's a seed. Yeah, and then I saw that as a young adult, young professional. I never went.
Yeah.
like fuck. I don't know. Like you
You
need
didn't wanna
someone.
do it?
You need someone to hold your hand sometimes.
Yeah.
But that is something I struggle with as well. Is like, how do you find that other room?
Yeah.
So like my analogy to another reason why I moved out of Hamilton was because I see myself with this table in front of me, right? And every chair at the table is a different family or friend that brings an attribute to my life.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I just had a couple empty chairs that I need to go full up.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like all my lads from high school, they're still at the fucking table.
Yeah.
They ain't fucking going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's just, I just needed to find these couple extra people. But then again, it's like, how?
Yes.
So for me, that was trying to move city, get into the community. So that's why I got into CrossFit. I've started doing the run groups there. I tried a yoga over there, didn't quite work out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, middle-aged ladies don't really want to talk to you.
They go, oh, that's cute.
But then, if you start thinking about career, then now you look back at the career, it's like, okay, I'm working from home in Papamoa, come to Hamilton to work. I still work in the same area. How do I get into a smarter room? You change company. But then what if you love your company?
Yeah.
And if your job's great, then it's difficult.
Yeah, that's probably that like perspective of there's 40 years of work. If you end up retiring at 65, and hopefully over those 40 years, how work looks like is way different. So then there's sort of the time frame. But then like if you're anything like me, like fuck man, I'm so impatient. It's
Well, a lot of people tiptoe through life trying to like hoping to safely make it through to death.
Yeah.
So you talk about 40 years of work. Well, it doesn't mean you're gonna work for 40 years and then be satisfied. Like you gotta think about the now, the present.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I said that.
It's go, away.
Yeah,
all gas, no break.
I said that concept of there's 40 years from work, but I'm someone who worked 18 months in my first job, 2.5 years in the next job, 1 year in the job after that, 2 and a bit years after that, 1 year, not quite a year, and now it's been 7.5 months, and I'm like, right, like, let's go. Like, what are we doing next?
You got itchy pants, eh?
Oh, but like that's because what I want is to be like running it, and like especially in the last few times, it's been like, can I do that or can't I? Because if I can't, then I'm not here anymore. This is why I'm here, and so like now I'm working with Specsavers, a big company. It's like you've got to go on the pace of like the beautiful thing about Specsavers is there's systems. But the downfall is these systems. You got to follow the systems, and like you are just an individual, and so you got to if you want to work in the security and the safety and the process of systems, well then you got to follow systems. So
I think the other one that like keeps me in check is I don't want to be a cog in the wheel.
Yeah,
like the wheel of life. You kind of want to be the main character of your own life.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I like is if your life up to today was put in a book. Would you be happy to read that book?
Hard, yeah.
Like, if you look back at what you've done, it's like, shit, could I be doing better, Like,
yeah.
If you have that pen in your hand, so if I can do something.
Have you pushed out as far as you can go on a couple of things?
Probably not, no.
How was the 50?
So for the listeners, 50-kilometer trail run. So I went travelling, came back from travelling, and I needed some extrinsic goals.
Yeah.
So something to work towards. And straight away I thought Tarawera and also the mountain bike race in Rotorua, the Whaka 100.
100, yeah.
But Taupo ended up being around the Whaka 100, so I didn't do that. But so Tarawera, and I was like, yeah, I'll do Tarawera. There's a 50k, there's a 100k, and there's a 100 miler. And I was like, fuck, I'll just do one of them, push out the boat, like you say. Only done 3 marathons.
Mm-hmm.
But curiosity is how hard you can push yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So then Taupo was a stepping stone, really. So 50k, and that was fine. Fine in the sense that I completed it. Nutrition was all good. I had a sore gut. Turns out I just needed a piss. Had mean blisters, but blisters are blisters. I didn't train well for it. My longest run prior to that was only 32k run, which is from Papamoa, all the way down the beach, up the mountain a couple of times, all the way back along the beach. And that Kinloch track, it's hilly as fuck.
Yeah.
So that slapped me for 6 kind of thing. But I completed it. And the worst thing in my life probably has been I did Mount Everest, base camp, and got altitude sickness. So I lost my appetite and didn't eat for multiple days. Had no energy, and that was probably the only time I've really had to fight for my life because you couldn't get a helicopter out. I tried actually coming down from the top. I tried hiring a horse, but to get in, it's like one of the most dangerous airports in the world.
Yeah,
Lukla Airport, I think it is. And so we had a helicopter in, and it only cost us $150 to helicopter in.
Yes.
And this horse was going to cost me $250. And I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm walking. So thank fuck I didn't, because it was so treacherous. Would have been up and down. You would have had to strap me to it. I had no energy. But in that kind of sense, like, that pushed me physically and mentally. And then you come back, and then it's like, okay, what's curiosity again? It's like, how hard can you push yourself?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, CrossFit kind of taps into that, but it's 15 minutes to half an hour and you're done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 50K, yeah, done it. Like, you know, it's like, tick. It's okay.
So what did you learn at base camp? Because that's pretty gnarly. I've had a few friends, and my mate's mum did it. She like got out, she fell over, gave herself a big black eye, and then she goes tramping out in the mountains and stuff, and I talked to her a couple of times about it. And she was like, she's like stubborn enough to, because her friend was doing the same. Like, should we get you out of here? And she's like, nah, we going. Like,
no, it's interesting.
Spend another day in a tent. And
one of my most favorite podcasts was Between Two Beers with Josh Coleman.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
That phenomenal young, and the fact that his mate carried his bag and he's like, "No, fuck you!" Like,
I know, you got angry about that.
He's like, "I'm fucking carrying my own bag." I wasn't carrying my own bag by the time. Like, and then there's actually this person who contacted me on Instagram that at the start of the year asked for advice, like she's wanted to do it, and she just did it. She messaged me back, and she actually got hit by a bull or something, like bruised her up the leg and like really damaged her and shit. I'm like, fuck, thank God.
Fear up there or something.
Yeah, oh, I don't know what you're doing you must have been walking pretty close, but it's pretty funny to hear. But she did it, and she actually got to see a lot more than I did. It was pretty overcast when I did it. What did I learn? I don't know. Not to do a 3-month bender before doing the hike. that is key. One of the lads I was with, shout out Alex, he's a chef from England.
Yeah.
And he was punching darts all the way up, hey. We got to a certain point, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll stop after this point. And realised he can buy cheap darts off the porters. And he went all the way up and sunk a beer at the top as well. And meanwhile, I'm fucking struggling, dying, like, couldn't eat my food.
Maybe the nicotine helped sort it out.
Oh, mate, it was phenomenal. So each and every one of us are different. That's probably a learning. Go at your own race.
Nicotine probably does help, actually. Probably helps with the...
I wouldn't know. Fucking burn my lungs out. But there's multiple groups going up at the same time, and I was the only one who got sick. There's an old guy in the other group that had been training in altitude chambers. And he's like, what was your training? And I said, oh, mate, 3 months on the piss, like, not much.
On the piss.
So, yeah. The fact that you can push yourself a lot harder than you think you can.
Oh, there's...
Like, you hear people saying that, but so knowledge is knowing, wisdom is doing.
Mm.
So the wisdom I gained through that and like pushing your body. Same thing with like doing the 30 half marathons, like pushing your body. Phenomenal.
How was that?
So,
because that's fresh.
Yeah. So for November, I did 30 half marathons in 30 days. I just finished listening to Ned Brockman's book.
I don't know, Ned.
So he's the guy that ran across across Australia.
No. Oh, I know. Yes, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So he had a book.
Hell of a welcoming party at Bondi Beach.
Oh,
Jesus.
Fucking hell.
Picked the whole place out.
But on
Dino Gleason would have been like, who the fuck are these guys at?
Like, phenomenal lad. He's kind of like, in a way, like a David Goggins, but way younger and hasn't done as much.
Yeah.
He talks about David in his book, actually, and how they connected without even having to speak, because they know what each other's been through, kind of thing. But he did 50 full marathons in 50 days while working as a sparky. And then there's a part in the book where he was talking about this journey, and his mate messaged him, and it just like was so inspirational. I was just like, fuck, man, like, what else can I do? Like, what could I do? And this was a few days before November. I couldn't be bothered doing November this year. We did it for work last year, and, you know, no one really gives a shit. And then I was just like, fuck, 30 days, there's a time frame.
Yeah.
Half marathon, 2 hours a day. I could give that a go.
Set a smart goal.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't simple, but it was measurable.
Yeah.
It was achievable, realistic, not really. Time frame, 30 days.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Messaged my friend Lashara, and she's like, that's ludicrous, but if someone you can do it, it's you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, who else could I message? Messaged another mate, and he's like, fuck yeah, go carry the boats, bro. Like, go hard.
And the lols.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, fuck yeah, keen. So I kept it quiet for the first 7 days because I wasn't sure if my body could handle it.
Yeah.
Came off the Auckland Marathon, did that with my mate. So pretty relaxed, like I wasn't going out the gate, wasn't hurting, whatever. So I had that Sunday, ankle injury, started running Wednesday. Kept it quiet for the 7 days, like, fuck yeah, I can do this. So that's when I made it kind of public. And then started sharing it. And then, yeah, so 30 days, 30 half marathons. Quite often it was either 4:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the afternoon I was running. By the end, I had a couple of people joining me in a couple of them. So shout out Renee. She jumped in a few of them. One of them, my mate Josh Quartermain jumped in. That morning, I couldn't even shed my leg. Like, because I had these fucked up things behind my knee. I don't know. So again, you talk about pain and pushing through it, and physios will probably hate me for saying it, but like I pushed through every single thing I had. So straight away, blisters all over my toes. Not a physio thing, but blisters. Strapping them up after a week. Sweet. Ankle injury, gone. Knee pain, couldn't shed my leg, gone after a few days. Had a hamstring issue, gone. Shin splint, fucking nearly pulled the pin on like 21 or 22 days. Absolute agony. Just fucking so much pain. A few days later, gone.
Gone again.
Finished with a Achilles, swollen Achilles. I couldn't lift or extend my foot. So the last 4 days, I think, was the Achilles injury.
Dragging your feet.
And I drank twice, I think. So the following Sundays, or like the following day, hungover. Those are the days I pushed the boat out and just like kind of punished myself, which would be like my PB runs. Yeah, but probably not smart because that's probably where the Achilles came from. But whatever.
Dehydrated, your tendon's like, yeah, what's
yeah.
going on, mate?
So again, it just became, I think I mentioned it earlier, non-negotiable.
Right,
just get up and do it. Time chunking was very valuable. Like, I had to go to a granular level. Like, I was working in kind of 15-minute chunks. I still did CrossFit 3 days a week. I still socialized. Like, I did that Movember thing as well.
Yeah.
I still went to my work Christmas function. Like, I wasn't hibernating. I was adding it into my life.
What was the Movember thing you did?
Oh, for the Mount CrossFit, the rowing.
Oh,
the
yeah,
60K
right.
row.
Yep.
Yeah, so I did the 60K row with the boys and then went out for a half marathon afterwards, you know. So, yeah, phenomenal challenge. Good finish. Fundraised $3,000. Like, that's a byproduct. Like, they never saw it coming. Shout out to RS Studios and Flat Pack Company they donated quite a bit, and everybody who donated, that was amazing. I did message everybody that I knew. Message like if it's anonymous, I can't message you, but like everybody did. That was pretty cool to see. $3,000 for Movember.
Yeah.
For doing 30 half marathons.
Roundy will have to get you in the crew, I think. Yeah.
See, I had heard that before. So one of my past guests, Matt Woolbank, so he did that. He started up his own foundation. Yeah, for like stationery in primary schools.
Yeah.
And then so he did that, run and fundraise for that, and then he also did 1 year for I Am Hope, 650 odd kilometers in the month. And so I was able to contact him and talk to him a little bit about what did he do in that. But he split his days up, so like say 10k in the morning, 10k in the afternoon. Yeah. But that's another thing that I didn't want to do. People are like, oh, take a day off, or split your runs. I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, come and support me.
Yeah,
like,
come run.
come motivate me. Like, tell me you can do this. Not, oh, take the day off. Take the day off.
That's interesting, eh? Like, fuck. Yeah, that's real weird.
See, that's the type of people that you want at your table, is to be able to go, fucking, yeah, you got this. Like,
yeah,
we'll pick up the pieces when you're done. Like, you got this, bro. Like, that's who you want in your corner.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, that's interesting. Like, I was lucky at my work. My boss was training to do his Ironman.
Yeah.
So
see, that's just another level, man.
Yeah. So
that was the amount of training you have to do.
That was like kind of like in parallel, and my mate Howes was the one that was like, oh, you got it. She gave me a program, and it was just like, damn, just basically time on legs. I should say it's time on legs.
Yeah.
And then, it's mental way. And then you were saying about hills. My ultra was the same. Like, I used to run Tomato Peak. I did this loop in the car workers once, and then but basically most of it was on the flat.
Yeah.
I think one of our hills was 2,000 meters, and there was 3 others that were like 400 meters. And so my knees and ITB were not good.
Yeah, hurting.
Yeah.
That was another thing. I got sick, so we did Legend of the Peaks.
Yeah,
run. So with the boys, and one of the boys was sick, and ran behind him for over 2.5 hours, and
got sick.
Yeah, that had me real bad as well. I don't know if it was because of the sickness, but there's a period where I was like 3-4 days just shitting black. You know, you can Google it and it'll be like internal bleeding in your intestines and shit. It's like exit, like fuck that. But see, once again, that came right. Sickness. Couldn't actually get rid of the sickness for ages. I've got a Whoop strap, so that's health data and that. And for the whole month, just overachieving, sleep, fucking low as, recovery, absolute shite. Like I fucked up everything, but good challenge all in all. Yeah.
What are we now? 6th? Is it wound back yet?
Yep. My like sleep recovery or like sleep performance is already gone from like a 63 back up to I think in the 80s. Green recoveries, yep, except for after coat day. I think there's 2 weeks there.
What did that do to your sleep? No REM.
Pretty much. That's what it does. Yeah. So with the Whoop, you can actually log different things. So after every morning there's like journal, and you can add in or remove prompts. So you can have prompts of like you drank enough water, if you had a sauna, if you had sex, if you slept in the same bed, if you had a COVID shot, or all sorts of things. Like these are heaps of different little bits of data. And
that's the beauty of an American company, eh? Like Boswell market of 300 million people, but like even if they got, what's that, 10%, 30 million people.
Yeah, and
that's like massive data. That's why the American market's so good.
Yeah,
like for stuff like this.
And you can have like calcium, zinc, vitamin C. Like if you took that during the day, if you're on a keto diet, if you stuck to it, you know, if you ate bad food, processed food. But after a period of time, it has like 5 ticks and 5 crosses. It can generally pick up like data points, and so you can have positive or negative percentage on your recovery.
Yeah.
And the alcohol is like negative 16%. Straight as bad as it gets, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, that's the other thing that wearables are revealing, just like how bad, it's not that bad, like, so here's a metric.
yeah, when you have metric, I just love data, man. Like, if I wake up and it's red and I feel good, I'm like, fuck it, I feel good, man.
Yeah.
If I wake up and I feel like shit and it tells me it's green, then maybe I'll think like, I'm just playing in my head. But don't let it dictate your life.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. Like, okay, even if you have a Garmin or Apple Watch and it says you had a shit sleep and you feel good, fuck, don't make you feel like shit. Like, just take it on board. You're like, I had a good sleep.
Yeah. What are you doing for New Year's?
Just hanging around home. I think there's a festival on in the Mount.
Yeah, always. Yeah,
but nah.
So you're doing Tarawera in February?
Yep, so that's the plan. Tarawera in February. There's a Mount CrossFit competition. It's a team of 4 at the start of February. And then after those are my extrinsic goals that I mentioned. And then I want to go travelling again to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Just backpacking again.
Yeah.
Cheaper than in Europe.
Have you been to Europe?
Yeah, that was my last trip. 3.5 months. And
how did you end up in Himalayas?
So that was at the end. So I went through Egypt.
Yeah.
So Kentucky in Egypt for 7 days, and then Kentucky in Europe for 20 odd days. Floated around for however long after that. And then on my way home went through India. So Delhi to Kathmandu tour, 2 weeks. And then the Kathmandu Everest tour, 2 weeks back home. Yeah. So I came home skinny ass.
Yeah. And it was just altitude sickness now.
Delhi
just, belly or anything.
No. Fuck. Oh, there was like, I love spicy food, eh?
Yeah.
And yeah, when we were in India, it's always like, oh, give me something spicy. Never got it today until like maybe
Kiwi hot.
Maybe like the 5th day or 6th day, and I finally got something spicy, and fuck it, honestly burnt, and I was like left a little bit on the plate. It's like, oh, gotta eat it. And this is the day that we went and saw the Taj Mahal, beautiful place. And so the following day morning, we're going up, and we're walking through like a little bush area for another viewing, just in the bush. And that morning I was picking up leaves, like preparing for the worst. It was just so bad. And then we eventually got to a calf, and thank fuck they had a toilet there. And
what was with the curry?
No, it was just spicy food.
Yep. But like, did they do any meat or anything like that?
Or?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I had heaps of chicken, I think.
Yeah.
I know in Nepal I had a bit of ox. I think it was ox or buffalo, water buffalo.
Yeah.
No beef.
What did you do in?
Oh, lamb. There's lamb.
What did you do in Egypt?
That was just a 7-day Kentucky.
Yeah.
So the pyramids, the Sphinx. You go down to Luxor and.
How'd they build it?
Fuck knows, man. No idea. It's phenomenal. But there's another one. I can't remember the name. It might have been Abu Simbel or something. But there's another tomb. There's actually 2 tombs. But when they built the dam, I think it was on the Nile or whatever, the water level was rising. And so it was going to flood. So then they had to come up with an idea to obviously not flood these 2 temples or tombs or whatever you call them. And so they put them out to different countries, and like one of them was like put a big dome over it. So it'll be like a water feature and you have to go down in there. But at the end, I can't remember what country won it, but basically they cut up these temples into jigsaw puzzles, basically squares, perfect little squares, and uplifted it, same alignment, so that when the sun rises it comes straight to the feet of the pharaoh or whatever it is and all that. Phenomenal. Like,
so they moved it.
Yeah, moved it up. I don't know how many meters, like 60 or 50 meters, and pieced it all back together, and it looks immaculate, looks perfect. You can kind of see like the lines and bits and pieces, but fuck, phenomenal. Once again, how the fuck do they do it? Don't know, man. This is more modern.
But they don't know how they moved it.
No, they would know how they moved it. I don't, personally. Like,
yeah.
Fuck me. Like, it was a good job.
Yeah.
How do they make the pyramids? No idea. No, even the Sphinx, like, how would you do that? And then they don't even know if it's the right head.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mate.
What do the guides say? They're just kind of like, we don't know. Check this out.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago now. A lot of brain cells lost since then. Yeah, no, I can't really remember.
What were the crew like that were traveling around Egypt?
So there's a different, yeah. So
Like you think of Europe, Kentucky, you're like, oh yeah, Aussies, South Africans, and New Zealanders, but
yeah. So you think that? So Egypt, Kentucky. So it was with Kentucky, like the Kentucky group.
Yeah.
Average age maybe around 25, 26 for Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Great people. Majority of them were pretty good. There's a few people that are just there quiet by themselves, but me and my buddy got along real well. Camilo from America, and there's a few Aussie blokes, phenomenal people as well, like still in touch with a few of them. Really connected real well. Go to the Europe, Kentucky, average age maybe 20. Like completely different.
You were the old dad.
Yeah, man. Or I definitely wasn't the oldest, but completely different vibe, like party hard kind of thing. And then the Delhi to Kathmandu, that was through Intrepid Journey. There's only 3 of us, one from England and one from Aussie. The dude from Aussie came over with a bit of cash and an FWAS card that didn't work.
Oh shit!
We don't know why he brought it. He couldn't use it, and that caused a bit of issues later on. And then did Intrepid Journey again for the hike, and that was 2 English, an American, or 3 English and American.
Close.
I'd recommend doing some like tours and stuff, like a lot safer. You don't have to think. If you're like me, you don't want to think and plan.
Yeah.
I did do a bit of solo travel afterwards. And just float around, that kind of thing. But if you don't want to organise shit, fuck, do a tour, man. You meet some wicked people. It's amazing.
Nice, man. So, where do people find you, Mason?
Instagram, I
Yeah.
suppose. That is me, Mason. And yeah, the podcast is Relatable Chapters. Yeah, I can't say I really do any plugs. Don't really know what people want to see, but
Yeah. No, I'll link that in the show notes, so people can find it very easily.
yeah.
And have you heard my last question? What keeps you in flow?
Oh, I have, because I've recently listened to a couple of yours as well.
So it's like a quote or a way you live your life or a mantra that when you're applying it, things go well, or if you're in a bad spot, you can call on it to help turn things around. Do you have anything like that?
The first one that comes to mind is win the morning, win the day.
Yeah, nice.
I fucking rate that. But if shit gets hard, fuck, I don't know, man. I do a lot of gratitude and like journaling myself, so gratitude and what went well during the day, and then that sets me up in a good mind space anyway, day to day. So I'm always looking for the positives. I'm always compassionate, empathetic, and all that kind of shit. But what really gets me going, I suppose, is fresh air, like walking the dog, win the morning, win the day. Honestly, like that's the other thing, is like running half marathons every day, waking up at 4:30, going for a half marathon, finishing 6K loop with a run group, having a cup of coffee with them, doing my groceries on the way home, starting work at 8 instead of 7:30 because I had groceries, and knowing that like everybody else has just rocked out of bed and jumped online, it's just like, fuck, man, I've won the day. Like,
that is so true.
But if you have adversity in the morning in any way possible, like if it's a cold shower, simple as that, you go to work, you know that there's nothing that's gonna fucking upset you.
Yeah.
Because if everything's firing outside of work, then when you go to work, you're humming. You're good to go. Even if your work's shit, you know, like you should be good to go. So, what keeps me in flow? Yeah, win the morning, win the day.
Loose, man. Thank you so much for coming this way, and
I appreciate it.
safe trip home. And
yeah, you'll be on mine one day.
yeah, absolutely. Keen as.
Nah, cheers, mate. Much
Sweet.
appreciated.
Boom.